Hey everybody, my name's TSW, and in this video I'm going to be going through the tactics for Amber Shaper Unsock on 25 normal mode. So this is a really fun fight, and everyone in the raid needs to know what they're doing or you will wipe. So as soon as someone fails or does something wrong, just make sure that everyone knows what's going on as early as possible, so that when people get turned into mutated constructs, you don't wipe. So, without further ado, let's go through Phase 1, the Amber Scalpel Beam, which the boss will cast on a random player, excluding the tanks. This will create a very small circle on the floor, and it will deal damage to anyone stood in it, so you don't stand in it. This will also create a ad called a Living Amber. Now, these Living Ambers have random aggro. If you do get aggro by one of them, make sure you are in melee, so the melee can damage the boss and also cleave your ad. When these ads, the Living Ambers, die, they will leave a Burning Amber pool on the floor, which are these medium to large sized pools on the floor. Again, don't stand in them. Be a good guy. So basically, that is the easy part of, Phase 1. There'll also be a Parasitic Growth, which will be cast on a random player in the raid. This will deal small amount of damage, but the more you are healed, the more damage it takes off the player. So don't overheal them and use any sort of reduced damage effects as early as possible, so you take less healing as early as possible. It's easy, it doesn't do a lot of damage anyway. He'll also do Reshape Life, which he'll do after every single Amber Scalpel Beam he does. So he'll do Amber Scalpel on a random player, he'll spawn some ads, and then he'll do Reshape Life. This will turn his current target, i.e. one of the tanks in Phase 1, into a mutated construct, which is what we called a yellow jelly baby, because it's so much easier to differentiate between the boss and a yellow jelly baby. When you're the yellow jelly baby, you're basically you are one of the two tanks in Phase 1, because that's all he does it on. You'll get a yellow bar, which is your willpower bar. When that reaches 0, you die. Also, if the yellow jelly baby reaches 0 health, you die. What you want to do as a tank in this phase is just spam number 1. That is your Amber Strike. And also, as a yellow jelly baby, throughout all phases, your yellow jelly baby will start to cast Amber Explosion, which hurts the raid, as the name may suggest. Hit your number 2 ability, called Struggle for Control, and you'll interrupt this. So, at very basic level, in Phase 1, as a tank, spam 1 when your ad, when you, the mutated construct, the yellow jelly baby, cast a spell, just hit Amber Explosion 2 to interrupt it. You can't control when the spell is used, just hit number 2 to interrupt it. That's Phase 1. Easy peasy. Also, to get out of the yellow jelly baby, I must say this as well. When you DPS need to DPS the yellow jelly baby to below 20% health. Hit number 4 and you'll get out of the yellow jelly baby. Okay, that's Phase 1 done. That's locked in. Locked in. Phase 1 locked in. So Phase 2 starts when you get this big boy out. So this is the big yellow jelly baby. Now what this guy does is Amber Explosion again, but on a slightly bigger scale, as his size may indicate. Now, in order to interrupt this one, because this one needs to be interrupted as well, random players in the raid, not the tanks this time, everyone besides the tanks will be randomly chosen, and they'll randomly be beamed Reshape Life from the boss, and randomly turned into a yellow jelly baby, as the tanks were. Now, Amber Strike, which is the number 1 ability I told to spam as a tank in Phase 1, you do not want to spam this. No, because this has a 6-second cooldown. What you want to do is target the big jelly baby, and when the big jelly baby casts his Amber Explosion, hit your number 1 ability, Amber Strike, to interrupt the Amber Explosion, or else people gonna die. And this is the main thing you need to take from this video, or anything to do with this boss. In Phase 2, when the big jelly baby is alive, and you are also turned into a jelly baby yourself, simply target the big jelly baby and use your Amber Strike to interrupt his Amber Explosion. That is 99% of this encounter, ladies and gentlemen, okay? Because this is what kills people. Okay, so that's easy, yeah? I can, oh god, next week when LFR comes out, oh my god, this fight. I hope that a lot of it's changed, or else no one's going to kill it. Anyway, less of that. So you also, so basically just make sure if you're a yellow jelly baby, target the big jelly baby, use your number 1 Amber Strike ability when he casts his Amber Explosion. Goody, goody, goody. During phase 2 and phase 3. Oh, sorry, I did say this for all the phases, didn't I? Yeah, in all the phases, again, when you're the yellow jelly baby, you will cast yourself Amber Explosion. Make sure you hit number 2 to interrupt this. It goes for all phases. I don't know why I always think it's not. Anyway, yeah, all phases. And make sure when you're the yellow jelly baby that you're stacked on top of the big yellow jelly baby, because you need to be cleaved down to sub 20%, so you can use your escape, your break free ability, which is number 4. So number 1 to damage whoever, your target, and also interrupt them. It also applies a stacking debuff, increasing more damage, but you don't need to worry about that too much in normal mode. Your number 2 ability, which you will cast when you yourself, the yellow jelly baby, are casting Amber Explosion. Your number 3 ability, which we'll get to in phase 3. And your number 4 ability, which is break free when you are DPS sub 20. Okay, so let's talk about the third ability now. The third ability is Consume Amber, which is used for this phase. We are now hitting phase 3 when you kill the big jelly baby. So again, throughout this phase, random players, healers and DPS will be turned into the yellow jelly babies, much as everyone else was before. Now what you want to do is stay alive as a yellow jelly baby. You don't want to be cleaved down, and you don't want your willpower, your yellow bar, to reach 0 because you will die. Now you can see his Warlock doing a very impressive job of this. He's running to, well, he was running to all the pools on the floor, the Burning Amber, and using his third ability whilst he's a yellow jelly baby. This will consume the Burning Amber on the floor, which heals the yellow jelly baby, but that's fine because we're not killing them, and also replenish willpower so they won't die from running out of willpower. So the jelly babies stay alive for the entire duration of this phase, as long as there is enough of the Burning Amber pools on the floor for them to take. This phase is harder to heal and tank because the boss has 50% extra damage and also 50% extra haste, so be mindful of that. But the number 1 ability, the Amber Strike, as a yellow jelly baby, will deal a lot of damage to the boss. You don't need to interrupt anything, and like I've said many times, it applies a stacking debuff, increasing damage taken, which will stack. So all of these yellow jelly babies are spamming their number 1 ability. As soon as they start getting low willpower, they're going to jog on over to one of the Burning Amber pools on the floor, hit their number 3 ability, which will consume the Amber. You won't be able to use number 3 until you get within range of one of the Burning Amber pools, which is, you can get quite far away from it. You don't have to be stood on top of it, just when the number 3 icon implies you can use it, then you can, obviously, which is great. Also, you will do the Amber Explosion, as I just saw. I think two of our yellow jelly babies are casting them. Wow, you've got to be mindful of that. Make sure you hit number 2 when you are the yellow jelly baby and you are casting your own Amber Explosion. And that's pretty much the encounter. If you got any questions, let me know below. If you got anything else to say, let me know below. If you like this video, thumbs up. If you're not subscribed and want to stay subscribed, you can subscribe. I just hit my spacebar, so it cut off. But yeah, thanks for watching again. Bye. Cheers. Thank you. Bye.